Your faith is your fortune. Neville Goddard, Chapter 2. You shall decree. Thou shalt also decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee, and the light shall shine upon thy ways. You will also decree a thing, and it will be established for you, and light will shine on your ways. Thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall come to thee, and light shall shine in thy ways. Job 22:28. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. Isaiah 55:11. Man can decree a thing and it will come to pass. Man has always decreed that which has appeared in his word. He is today decreeing that which is appearing in his word, and he shall continue to do so as long as man is conscious of being man. Nothing has ever appeared in man's word but what man decreed that it should. This you may deny, but try as you will, you cannot disprove it, for this decreeing is based upon a changeless principle. Man does not command things to appear by his words, which are, more often than not, a confession of his doubts and fears. Decreeing is ever done in consciousness. Every man automatically expresses that which he is conscious of being. Without effort or the use of words, at every moment of time, man is commanding himself to be and to possess that which he is conscious of being and possessing. This changeless principle of expression is dramatized in all the Bibles of the world. The writers of our sacred books were illumined mystics, past masters in the art of psychology. In telling the story of the soul, they personified this impersonal principle in the form of a historical document, both to preserve it and to hide it from the eyes of the uninitiated. Today, those to whom this great treasure has been entrusted, namely the priesthoods of the world, have forgotten that the Bibles are psychological dramas representing the consciousness of man in their blind forgetfulness. They now teach their followers to worship its characters as man and woman who actually lived in time and space. When man sees the Bible as a great psychological drama with all of its characters and actors as the personified qualities and attributes of his own consciousness, then and only then will the Bible reveal to him the light of its symbology. This impersonal principle of life which made all things is personified as God. This Lord God, creator of heaven and earth, he is discovered to be the man's awareness of being. If man were less bound by orthodoxy and more intuitively observant, he could not fail to notice in the reading of the Bibles that the awareness of being is revealed hundreds of times throughout this literature. To name a few, I am hath sent me unto you, Exodus 3:14. Be still and know that I am God, Psalm 46:10. I am the Lord and there is no other God. I am the Lord and there is none else. There is no God beside me. Isaiah 45:5. I am the Lord your God and there is no other. Joel 2:17. I am the shepherd. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. John 10:11. I am the good shepherd, and now my sheep and I am known of mine. John 10:14. I am the door. I am the door. By me if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out and find pasture. John 10:9. I am man's unconditional awareness of being is revealed as Lord and Creator of every conditioned state of being. If man will give up his belief in a God apart from himself, recognize his awareness of being to be God, this awareness fashions itself in the likeness and image of its conception of itself. He would transform his world from a barren waste to a fertile field of his own liking. The day man does this, he will know that he and his Father are one, but his Father is greater than he. He will know that his consciousness of being is one with that which is conscious of being, but that his unconditioned consciousness of being is greater than his conditioned state or his conception of himself. When man discovers his consciousness to be the impersonal power of expression, which power eternally personifies itself in his conception of himself, he will assume and appropriate that state of consciousness which he desires to express. In so doing, he will become that state in expression. Ye shall decree a thing, and it shall come to pass, can now be told in this manner. You shall become conscious of being or possessing a thing, and you shall express or possess that which you are conscious of being. The law of consciousness is the only law of expression. I am the way, I am the resurrection. Consciousness is the way as well as the power which resurrects and expresses all that man will ever be conscious of being. Turn from the blindness of the uninitiated man who attempts to express and possess those qualities and things which he is not conscious of being and possessing, and be as the illumined mystic who decrees on the basis of this changeless law. Consciously claim yourself to be that which you seek. Appropriate the consciousness of that which you see, and you too will know the status of the true mystic as follows. I became conscious of being it. I am still conscious of being it, and I shall continue to be conscious of being it until that which I am conscious of being is perfectly expressed. Yes, I shall decree a thing, and it shall come to pass. End of this chapter. Well, you shall decree is one of the most popular phrases in the teachings of Neville Goddard. Why is it so important? It is important because we shall bring forth the words that are important to us in order for us to manifest exactly what we want. In other words, our words are not vain. So when you use your words in a casual conversation, when you use words in your thoughts, when you sing words, when you hear words and react to them, they are not in vain. That's why we should learn to guard our mind and guard our mouth. Because words are not only the words you think, they are the words you speak. That's why affirmations are so powerful, whether you do them in your mind or out loud or both. It's a decreeing, and the more you are concentrated and focused on those words, and if you have a feeling with those words, be it negative or positive or even neutral, the intensity of the focus differs, and you will impress the subconscious mind, be it good or bad or anything in between, with those words and those feelings attached to those words. Now, don't get me wrong. It is a vast misconception that we need to be happy, that we need to be elated in order to manifest anything. It doesn't mean that it doesn't work if you are in those states of mind. If anything, it works better. However, as human beings, being elated in a state of elation, in a state of happy ecstatic, is not something that we are always cultivating in our minds. Why? Because it's simply not possible. We have a range of emotions as human beings, and we cannot always be even sad or depressed or happy or anything in between. However, what we can do is cultivate a peace of mind and an awareness of those feelings. And by awareness of these feelings, when you are aware of those feelings and do not participate in those feelings as much as people without the awareness of it, you will always be acting instead of reacting. What I mean by that is when you're happy, you're aware that you're happy. When you're neutral, you are aware that you're neutral. But when you're sad and despondent when it happens, you will be aware of it. And instead of reacting to this and feeding this sadness with more negative thoughts, with more negative emotion, instead of growing it, you can detach from it. Now, why is this important? It is important because once you are aware of the feelings and thoughts in your mind, notice I've talked about thoughts as well. When you notice those feelings and those thoughts, you can be, quote unquote, in control of your attitude of mind. So, whatever states of mind you are in, whatever thoughts you have, if just by being aware and kind of like a bouncer in a club, you decide what comes in and what comes out, and what stays in and what stays out. You can decide to choose the right thoughts. And if you have any negative emotions, for example, you just forego them. You just be aware of them and you just let them slide away by their own accord, without pushing them, without resisting them, without any tension. Just see it for what it is, an emotion. And when it passes, it passes. And yeah, obviously, when you're in a more neutral or positive state, then this is the right time to decree, as it say, because when you are in this state of mind, it is easier to focus, it is easier to affirm and decree. Now, even if you decree, and I heard this from this YouTuber Joseph Halley, you can test it when you're writing things in the present tense as if you already have that thing, which is living in the end. So let's say if you want to make 10,000 US dollars per month, you would write, I am making 10,000 US dollars per month. Or if you want to be with this specific girl or guy, you would say, I am dating this person, I am dating this girl, I'm dating this guy. Obviously, you would write the name instead of this person or this guy or this girl. What I'm trying to say is you always write in the present tense. And if you are to write it down is incredibly powerful. And that also is a decree. Whatever form you use your words, whether it being writing, thinking, affirming, speaking, hearing, it's the use of the word. So when you decree a thing, whether in writing, speaking, thinking, I don't repeat myself, but it is important. You are always decreeing. And the more you can be focused in that moment, and the less distraction you have while you are decreeing, the better it would impress the subconscious mind. That's why Neville Goddard talks about the state akin to sleep. Now, it doesn't mean that during the day when you're doing your mental diet, you should always sit down and spend some time to meditate and quiet your mind. Now, if you can, that's great. But during your day-to-day, when you have sleeping negative thoughts, you just be aware of them. At the very least, you let go of them and do not react to them. And the better thing to do is replace them, flip them with something positive, and a go-to affirmation. It doesn't need to be specific, but it can be general, like things always work out for me, everything is good. Something that will calm you and will turn you back to a better direction, a more neutral direction, or more positive situation, feeling, circumstance, attitude of mind. So decreeing is something that we should definitely do on a consistent basis. For those of us, I include myself in it, who are not necessarily big on visualization. I mean, I like it, but I do believe that visualization takes time And when it comes to visualization, you cannot do this as easily as an affirmation. And you always need to find the time to do it. And it can be a bit of a burden, so to speak. Because you need to sit, you need to get ready, you need to calm the mind. Don't get me wrong, it's an amazing practice and it's definitely worked for me. But I think decreeing is even better, because when you decree, when you affirm, when you use your words, they are more specific, they are easier to do. And when it comes to mental diet, that's the only thing you can do is guard your thoughts, guard your mind, and guard whatever is coming in or out, and whatever you let in or out. So feed your mind the right thoughts. When you wake up in the morning, when you're still in this kind of state akin to sleep because you're still drowsy, you're waking up, when the mind, the conscious mind is not fully activated, that's the best time to affirm. Or even when you wake up at night, during the night when you wake up, I always do it, go straight to affirmations. When you go to bed, straight to affirmation. When you do a task that doesn't need so much of your thinking, and your mind is kind of wander around, like you commuting to work or you running, whatever the case might be, you're doing the dishes, that's the right time to be fully guarded when it comes to your mind. Affirm instead, whenever you have a blank, how should I put it, a time in your day or night that your mind is blank, the ego and the lower self, so to speak, will take advantage and kind of shoot you thoughts, various thoughts, negative, positive, or anything. And you decide what you react to. But what I'm saying is, instead of letting the lower self shoot random thoughts, good or bad even, why not choose the thoughts you want to have? And this game is all about decreeing, choosing the right thoughts, instead of being controlled by other thoughts given us by our environments, by people, by our lower self. We choose at any given moment, as much as we possibly can, the thoughts we want to cultivate. Now, if you are in these times of where you don't really need to think, and you don't want to choose thoughts, but instead you want to meditate, more power to you. That's good too. That might be even better. But let's say if you're washing the dishes, running and stuff like this, if you want to be completely mindful of what you're doing, that's a great practice too, because it leads you to a deeper spiritual side of things, and it improves your focus even more. That's great too. What I do is affirm. Any chance you can get, affirm. Whenever you have this, oh my God, I'm not thinking, think your thoughts. Think the right thoughts. As often as you possibly can, whenever you can think the thoughts you want, instead of letting your mind go anywhere and everywhere, instead of giving an opportunity to your mind to go restless, choose the right thoughts. And that is decreeing. Obviously, Neville uses a vernacular that is particular to his time and his circumstances, and let's not forget that at that time which was 60s, 70s, the people were vastly Christian, and obviously the Bible, the way it is described by Neville Goddard, is not at all the Bible that most people describe it as, because he sees it as a psychological drama. The I am is us. So when he says that we are God, he doesn't mean that we are superior, omniscient beings. He means that we have the power of consciousness. The I am is God. The Buddha even said that the mind is the forerunner of all things. So because we cannot see outside of the construct of our own reality, we are literally, whether we believe it or not, the masters of our reality, because it is impossible for us to see the construct of another being. So we see everything from the perspective of this is our world. And what Neville Goddard is saying is that we have control over this world with the I am. So when you decree I am something, it comes to pass. But the thing is, like, most human beings do not think in this manner. We do not deliberately thinking, I am blah 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 blah, I am something, I'm this, I'm that. We let our mind go astray and let it be undeliberately impressed by things of our environment, of our people, or our lower self, or a combination of all those things. Whenever God is preaching, is for us to take control of this and impress upon the subconscious minds and react to the things that we have chosen. Because reacting is not only something that is negative, not necessarily. Let's say if you affirming something that you do not have right now in your 3D reality. For example, let's go back to money. Okay, let's go for a specific person. I am with, let's say, Sarah. For now, I'm single, and I affirm I am with Sarah. I'm dating Sarah. Sarah is in love with me. I am in love with Sarah. We spend a lot of time together, so on and forth, right? I affirm all these kinds of affirmation. Lo and behold, it comes to pass after a certain period of time. This becomes my reality. What I have imagined by affirming in my mind becomes translated in my 3D reality, right? Comes from the 4 dimension of my imagination and my mind to the 3D reality of something that is tangible, I can see, I can touch, I can taste, etc., etc. If I react to this, I will react in a way that is positive. Why? Because that's what I wanted and my desire has come to pass. So when I react to this positively, that's a good thing because I'm affirming what I have affirmed first in my mind. So I'm assuming that this is my reality now. In my mind and in reality, I have proof of it. Now, when it doesn't work is, let's say I'm affirming I am with Sarah. I am with Sarah, she's in love with me. However, I walk in the street and I happen to see Sarah with another guy. And they are together. Obviously, they are dating. So if I were to react negatively to this, it would mean that I do not accept what I have affirmed in my mind prior to seeing them. That's what Neville Goddard called reacting. So when we have the wherewithal and the discipline not to react negatively to things that are not aligned with what we have affirmed, that's the key. That's why when you ask, how long will it take? How long will this take? I've been blah, 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 blah. I've been doing this for a while. You are not living in the end. And don't get me wrong. It can be frustrating because nobody can give you a timeline on your desire. Nobody knows. And I have my explanations that I will not go and talk about right now about the timeline. But what I'm trying to say is nobody knows. So of course it can get frustrating, but your job is to decree and keep on decreeing as if it was already real, because as soon as you decree in your mind, that is real. But don't forget that if you react too often, or if you imagine and have contradictory, opposing thoughts, that's also imagining. That creates barriers to what you want. So to the best of your abilities, decree and affirm and guard your thoughts and emotions. Let go of the negative one. React to the positive one. Affirm and decree as much as you possibly can when you can, until it becomes natural, until it becomes a fact. Assumption hardens into fact. So assume, decree, affirm until it hardens into fact. It becomes natural in your mind. You have less negative thoughts, opposing thoughts, negative emotion towards this manifestation. It becomes natural and it hardens into fact at one point in the future, in your 3D reality, because in your mind, there's no time. It's timeless, present moment. So there you go. I think this explanation was pretty clear, but if you have any question, please let me know and write them down in the description box below. I am Sebastian, your mindset, manifestation, and meditation coach. If you have any more questions that you want to address to me directly, coaching is available. My ebooks are available. Everything is in the description box below. Thank you so much. Please like and share and subscribe if you like this kind of content and more of this type of content. And I'll see you very soon.